Welcome to Tech Refresh with Kim Komando and friends from Komando.com with a K. That's Komando. The gang is all here. Kim, Allie, Ben, hello. And I'm Mike. Today, a question for you. If money were no object, what connected gadgets would you have throughout your house? That includes appliances. You can choose anything you want. Think about that. We're going to talk about that in a bit. Also, if you bank with Wells Fargo or Chase, the scam that you must watch out for coming up. All right, we'd love it if, before we get started, you subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And let's start with the news, as we always do. America's digital goddess, Kim Komando.
Don't you have a drum roll or something?
That's as good as I got right now.
Oh, man. All right, think about over a year ago. The pandemic hit. Everybody was home. No one was in. No one was out. So what we did, we sat on our couches, right? Okay, so Netflix, they totally benefited from this surge of demand of all these streaming services. The first 6 months of the pandemic, they added nearly 30 million subscribers. Wow, I mean, that's a lot of folks. And there's still room for Netflix to keep growing. But the reason why I bring this up is that in their first quarter earnings, they said that the number of subscribers are actually going down by 10%. But they're hoping that this whole backlogs of shows and movies and things are going to bring back up. But the bottom line is that the surge is going down because, well, now you can no longer share your password. So people are like, okay, do I really need to pay for this? The price is going up. The average consumer in the U.S. spends about $15 a month for Netflix, which, remember, it used to be like $10. I looked at my Netflix bill yesterday, and it's on my list to figure out today. Is why am I paying $20 a month for Netflix? I mean, what's going on there? So Netflix says that they're going to spend $17 billion on content. Wow. In 2021, that's what they spent last year. But if you think about it, post-pandemic, people are out. They don't want to watch 5 seasons of Outlander. I mean, let me tell you, I just wish Claire and Jamie would die in the fire already, okay? Die. I mean, Quarantine was like a Netflix series. Just when you thought it was over, another season gets released. So revenues aren't what they used to be for Netflix. So they have this bright idea to bring in some new revenue streams. You have to listen to this. This is amazing. So using artificial intelligence, what they're going to do is put product placements into old movies. This company called Myria, they can insert ads for products directly into movies and videos, like a sign for maybe an iPhone or a Samsung phone, or a character in a movie holding a Starbucks cup instead of just a plain cup. The technology analyzes scenes from any movie, any TV show, any film, and then they just insert these ads. Now, they're doing this over in China, where in just a few months, they made like $3 million, 100 million views. Big money. But the key is that the ads have to be relevant and subtle. So take the shower scene from Psycho. Okay, we all can see that. Ah, right? I mean, you know what she's doing. She's screaming there. But behind her, imagine, there's a bottle of Suave shampoo right there. Okay. All right. How about take the opening scene for The Sound of Music, where Julie Andrews is singing, "The hills are alive." Okay. You know, you get the point. But her dress, instead of just being plain Jane, I mean, really, Chanel logos everywhere. Okay. One more. The "I'll have what she's having" scene. You know what I'm talking about, from When Harry Met Sally. You can see it on the table. Maybe there are ads for Bumble or Tinder, or maybe, how about just some, well, maybe just some AA batteries, right? Okay. You get the point. There are a lot of pluses and minuses to this whole thing, but soon we could have ads like in the Titanic, and you'd be like, wow, look at that, a vacation destination.
Okay. Well, actually, I hope that nobody from Netflix is listening to this, because they'll probably be like, that's a great idea. We're going to do that.
Also, weird thing, 4 people here, and I feel like only 2 of us have Netflix, right? You don't have it, Mike.
Yeah. Well, Allie has a great way for Netflix. As a consumer, they go from one to the other. So they allow themselves, I think, one streaming service. They go to Hulu.
So you're like on the budget.
It's really because we realized, hey, we're subscribed to 4 of these things right now. We're watching something on one. It's so stupid.
It's really
Why
dumb.
do it?
I wish you would tell my husband that. I mean, it's like less is always more. I don't know if you've noticed that about Barry. I mean, if we can have like 5 things, why? We could have 22.
Yeah, definitely. You guys are very similar. All right, Ben, how history was made on Mars just a couple of days ago.
Not just a geek, big space nerd right here. If in case you didn't know that. Yeah. So, well, anyway, you might have missed it, but a few days ago, NASA really made some history on Mars with the little helicopter called the Ingenuity that made the very first powered flight on a different planet. NASA calls it a Wright brothers moment. Now, this helicopter, it's 20 inches. It only went up 10 feet in the air and only stayed up for, I think, 40 seconds, but it's still a first. They do more of this, and they can explore all kinds of parts they've never been able to before.
Now, Ben, is the gravity on Mars the same as Earth?
Don't think so. There's a difference, but it's not like on the moon, where it's just
Bouncy,
completely,
bouncy.
yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. So, but they've even called this, what I like about this, the Wright brothers part, this happened 117 years after the Wright brothers flight and about 173 million miles away. And they're naming this part of the crater Wright brothers Field.
Have you seen this little guy? It's so cute.
Yeah, I know. It looks like the little Wally guy. I mean, or expect the little guy,
It
usually like a big
does.
smile on his face, like, hey, look at me. I'm here. I mean, I was planning a vacation on Earth and Mars because I could plan it.
That's pretty funny. All right. So crypto. Oh, boy, we've been hearing about crypto a lot, so much lately. Go ahead.
Yes, you can't go on the internet, talk to somebody, look around you without hearing about crypto, right? So first, a little 101. What is crypto? Electronic currency, doesn't physically exist. I can't pick up a Bitcoin and hand it to you. You probably wish I could, because right now they're worth about $56,000, just one of them. Back in the day, you could mine these yourself. Basically, you solve a math equation. If your computer does it first, wow, you win a Bitcoin, great. Not anymore. Just the power alone to run this operation would cost you like $5,000 for one coin. But it is getting a lot easier to buy and sell and trade these things. Kim, you talked recently, now it's on PayPal.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? PayPal, but how smart is that? Because you have to buy your Bitcoins, your Litecoins, your Bitcoin Cash, or whatever it may be, from them, and then you use it back to pay for things. Oh, so smart.
It is smart, and Venmo heard, and they got jealous. I think of Venmo as pay back your friend for going out to dinner, split a dessert, whatever it is. But nope, you can now do crypto there as well. So they've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, that's the second biggest one, and then Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin. One you won't see there, but you've probably heard about, Dogecoin.
You know what? I have to tell you something. Last night, Barry's like, so what's this doggy coin? I'm like, no, not the doggy coin, honey. It's a Dogecoin.
Yeah, so this one was created way back in 2013, kind of as a parody of cryptocurrency. It's all around this dog meme. It's a little cute little Shiba Inu. This year alone, it's gone up in value 9,000%. And all the people who missed out on Bitcoin said, hey, maybe this is it for me. Mike, I'm looking at you.
Hey, I don't want to talk about it.
We have to.
Well, you know what? We have to talk about it. I'm sorry. I mean, or first, Ben, have you ever invested in Bitcoin?
I haven't.
I'm surprised because you're like the geek of the week. I'm surprised you haven't been all over that.
It's just one of those areas that my attention can only be so many places, and it just hasn't gotten there yet.
He's thinking about space.
But now,
That's true.
well, yeah, my head's in space right now. No, but now that it's becoming more common.
Okay, so just for the people who are uninformed, okay, Mike James is a real estate mogul.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, I mean, you've got 13 different properties. Okay, so you got a lot going on in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a really savvy investor.
Mm-hmm.
So, like a week ago,
The guys came to me and were telling me about Dogecoin on Friday morning. And I said, okay, it's up 400%. What could go wrong? And I bought some Dogecoin and quickly lost about $500 in an hour. So this was 10 o'clock our time. By 11 o'clock, I had lost $500. I dumped it. And then...
you didn't keep looking back, did you?
Well, no, we talked about it on the show, on the break, and I said, maybe I should just buy $1,000 and forget about it. So I bought I think it was actually $1,100. So I bought one share, $1,100. And I think I checked on noon on Saturday. That was about 1 o'clock on Friday afternoon. On Saturday, I'd lost another $100 or $130 or something like that. So I dumped it again. It went all the way down to like 27 cents. It still was going down. It crashed this past weekend.
It did. It went to like 24 cents. And that's the thing with these. They're not backed by a government. They're not backed by anything. And so they can swing so wildly. So maybe you'll end up with a $56,000 Bitcoin or a
Or a zero.
20-cent Dogecoin.
Yeah.
The doggy kind. I mean, Ian asked me for $100 in Bitcoins, and I said, $9 in Bitcoins? I mean, why would you want $67 in Bitcoins? I mean, 'cause it just keeps fluctuating and fluctuating. And so definitely something that you don't want to invest in unless it's, what would you say, Michael?
Unless it's real estate.
Unless it's throwaway money.
Unless it's throwaway money. Again, I'm out of it. It's down to 30 cents now, as last I checked today, and I'm not touching it. I'm just going to buy more real estate. That's the moral to that story. All right, Kim, you're going to be back in a little bit, and we are going to talk about if money was no object, what connected gadgets would you have in your house? Also, how to take better photos. We got a quick tip just ahead with Ben. Better photos and videos on your phone. And of course, brand new, not true, is just ahead. It's Tech Refresh with Kim Komando and friends from Komando.com. Welcome back to Tech Refresh with Kim Komando and friends from Komando.com. It's brand new or not true just ahead, but first we're going to take a quick look at how to take better photos and videos with Ben.
Yeah, let's face it, it's actually not that difficult to take a decent photo or video with your phone these days. The sensors, the algorithms, they pretty much do a lot of the work for you. But as advanced as the phones are from Apple and Samsung, they still can't frame that perfect shot like a person can. So we've put together a list of 5 ways to take better photos and videos with your phone at Komando.com, which we'll go over a couple of those here. First, you don't have to wait for that perfect moment to get the right photo, whether it's an action shot, a sports shot, or whatever it is. Just use burst mode. That way, it's you hold down the shutter button and it's taking multiple photos each second, and then you go back and you just pick the ones you like.
It's so good for movement, dogs, kids.
Right. Now, let's say you're on vacation. Wouldn't that be nice? And you come across this breathtaking mountain landscape. Well, okay, if you have a small hard drive on your phone, I understand space is important. Maybe cloud storage is not much. Go into your settings, turn on 4K, get that, that beautiful landscape shot, save it, and then go back and change the settings back to more manageable size. That's another thing. Keep the 4K and the really high resolution stuff for the moments that count. Again, we have a whole list of 5 at Komando.com, which also includes tips on taking video in slow motion. And speaking from experience, that works really well on hummingbirds.
Oh, cool. That's a great idea. Thank you, Ben. All right, it's time now for America's newest national game show sensation, where you can play and guess, is it brand new or not true? Every week, literally thousands of new products, sites, apps, and services are announced in the technology world. Some are destined for greatness, others not so much. Oftentimes, products sound so crazy, outlandish, and just ridiculous. You sit back and think, what were they thinking? And before you know it, tech just created a new millionaire. When playing Brand New or Not True, we'll present you, the home listener, with 3 products, sites, or ideas, and it's up to you to decide which one of the 3 is real, 2 are fake. This week, and Allie always has great products, and here is product number 1.
Very important question first. Did either of you ever have a waterbed?
No.
Oh, well,
but I had family members who did.
Yeah. They're really popular in the 80s, 70s, 80s. Now, not really. Until now. Swell combines all that's great about today's foam mattresses and mattress technology with that comfy, weightless feeling of sleeping on water. There's a foam top. Under that is a water layer. Below that is where things get smart. There are 300 individual isolation chambers that you control with the Swell app. Increase or decrease the room the water has to move around. You can go from feeling like you're being gently rocked to sleep on the waves, or have a bed that feels pretty much as solid as a regular mattress. There's also temperature control. Great part about water beds. You can control that in the Swell app too, so that you're not too hot or too cold at night. A queen size, $2,799.
Oh, boy.
Well, that's not so swell.
Yeah, really. All right, product number 2.
Number 2, if you've ever lived in a big walkable city, I bet you've seen dogs tied up outside. It's not safe. They can run away. They can get stolen. That's where Dog Spot comes in. So imagine you get to your favorite coffee shop and you have a safe, comfy place for your dog to wait. It's free to sign up. Here's how it works. You open up the app, you find a spot, and then reserve it for your dog. You get to wherever you're going, say it's a coffee shop. Open up the door, and your dog goes inside. It automatically locks. You leave your pup inside, and then once you're done, you come back and get him. If you're feeling nervous, you want to make sure your dog's okay, there's a pup cam that you can access through the DogSpot app. These are in 14 states right now in places you'd expect like grocery stores, coffee shops, restaurants, right out in front. They charge by the minute, 30 cents. So say you're gone 20 minutes, that's $6. Moving on from pets to kids. I'm not a parent, but I certainly understand the importance of keeping an eye on your kids, right? You want to know that they're safe. What about when they're playing? So if you don't like the idea of sending your kids out to play alone, you will love Playhouse Company's latest line of smart playhouses. They've got a few different designs, everything from these really cool, sleek, and modern ones to really the more traditional playhouse that you might picture. They're easy to put together, they've got lots of space. And then there are all the parts that you as a parent will like. Each playhouse has a high-def camera that shows you every square inch so you know what's going on. Yes, there's an app. You can open it up to pan, tilt, zoom the camera. It's 1080 HD, so you can see everything. There are even LED lights built in. If it's a little dark, you can see what's going on. There's also a really cool intercom feature. It's two-way, so you can talk to your kid and they can answer you back. All these high-tech features have both hardwired and battery options depending on what your setup is, what your power's like out there. These are pricey. They start at $1,700 all the way up to $4,899 for the larger models.
4,800, did you say?
Yep, $4,899 for the
Wow.
big guys.
Wow. Well, for that, we could just use the DogSpot, put the kids in there.
Hey, there you go.
Okay, I'm going to start with that one. The DogSpot I don't think is real. It's just kind of expensive and I don't know. It just seems like it just doesn't seem like a real product. So it's between the Smart Playhouse and the Swell Smart Waterbed. Boy, that waterbed, when you were talking about it, seemed really fake. So I'm going to have to go with the Smart Playhouse. Boy, that doesn't seem real either. It's so expensive. $1,700. But people care about their kids. They'll spend a lot of money on kids. So I'm going to go with the Smart Playhouse. Go ahead, Ben.
This one is difficult.
Thank you.
Very detailed. Bravo.
Yeah. I say Allie's always got great products.
So, and I know she tries to pull fast ones sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me,
So-
no.
So you're thinking about going with the least, the least likely is the real product.
Right. So I'm going to say the Playhouse. It sounds real, and the pricing sounds real, but yeah, I'm going to go with that one as being fake, and I'm going to say the same thing about the waterbed, you know, and eat my words. And it's like, now if you threw in like a free lava lamp with it, I may have believed it, but so I'm going to go with it. You know what? Forget it. I'm just going to go with the DogSpot as being the real thing.
All right. And the real product is, or the fake product we both guessed is?
Okay, neither of you thought the waterbed was real. That's because the waterbed is fake. But wouldn't that be cool? No. All right.
Yeah, not
Down
really.
to two. Playhouse or the DogSpot? DogSpot is real. Good job, Ben.
Ooh, nice job, Ben. She did pull a fast one on us. That's the first one I
did
eliminated.
indeed. Can you imagine putting your dog in one of those? I mean, they seem cool.
No.
They fit dogs up to like 100 pounds all across the country. We'll see if that takes
That's
off.
expensive, though.
Yeah, their site said most people use it for like 15 minutes, right? You're just running in somewhere, maybe running into
Yeah.
the store. It's not a long-term, keep your dog in there.
Well, actually, people are just taking their dogs with them inside the stores these days, and nobody really cares. All right, so that is going to do it for this week's edition of Brand New or Not True. Thanks to Ben and Allie. And up next, we're going to take a look if money were no object, and Kim is going to come back and join us. What connected gadgets would you have throughout your home? Kim is actually building a house right now, so we're very interested in what she has to say. And if your bank is Wells Fargo or Chase, we've got some news that you're absolutely going to need to hear on Tech Refresh with Kim Komando and friends from Komando.com. Welcome back to Tech Refresh with Kim Komando and friends from Komando.com. Every week we give you the inside scoop on what's going on in tech, so you're the inside source for your friends and family. And this week we take a look at if money was no object, what connected gadgets would you have throughout your home? And that includes appliances, I don't know, curtain rods. Now, Kim, you're building a house right now, so we came to you because you're probably building your dream house. You're the digital goddess. You have to have all the connected stuff in your house.
Okay, we got to get one thing straight. Money is an object. Okay? Especially when you're building a house. Okay, let me just tell you, whatever number, yes, no matter what number they give you, even if it's a fixed bid, they will come to you at some point and say, do you really want that wall there? Because now that we built it, maybe the wall should be here. And that's what's been going on. So, but I do want a smart home, as you might imagine. So I've enlisted the services of a company here in town called Artisan. And Bill Aziz, he's been helping me out for years in our current house with Crestron, Lutron, things like that. And I have decided, number one, no Lutron. No Lutron. It has been nothing but a nightmare.
Right. You have that in your current home.
Correct. Okay. So in the new house, Crestron, think of it as the brains of the house. So everything's going to connect through Crestron. And so because the house is on the side of Camelback where it's going to get, 80% of the day in direct sunlight. So we not only do we have smart windows that will tint at certain times of the day, but each room is going to have 2 shades. So we'll have daytime shades that will actually block out, but you can see through them about 80 to 90% of the sunlight. And then other blackout shades for when it's nighttime or we will go away.
Are they in the window or are they like real shades?
Real shades. But the shades will be put on a timer that's based on the movement of the sun.
That's pretty cool.
And so this way you don't have to mess around with it. All the landscaping, and there isn't a lot because after all this is a desert. The water sprinkler system will only come on when it needs it. So if it rained, then it knows not to water the plants. Each light in the house is individually addressed. This is the big deal. Like we have in the studios. So if I want this light to be brighter than this light or that light, then all that is programmable, again, by scenes, by the time of the day. And so if you come over, obviously at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's going to look different than at 9 o'clock at night. And the reason why each individual light is programmable is that, especially when you get into LEDs, because these have to be LED lights, is that you can have a tendency in an LED full environment to look gray or to look blue. And I don't want to look gray and I don't want to look blue. The water system is also going to notify me by text when the water filtration system is down. So there's all these kind of cool little things that are built in. But what I'm most excited about, this is going to sound really crazy, is in the kitchen, I have a 7-foot sink.
Wow.
And you're like, a 7-foot sink. That is a big ass sink, isn't it? It's called the Galley. And when I saw it, I was like, this is amazing. You know how like you have 2 sinks or 1 sink and then you put out a towel for your wine glasses and then you wash vegetables and you put them off to the side. Well, this is just one long sink that has every little individual compartment built in. And the whole idea is that instead of the sink being against the wall, so your back is facing everybody else in the kitchen, the sink is part of the island. So you can talk to everybody. And then there's one little sink off to the side with a couple of dishwashers. But this is my dream house. And yesterday I was super excited because I got the daily report from the contractor and it said temporary stairs built. Because last week I was climbing the ladder. Okay. And Barry's like, get off the ladder. You're the cash cow. I'm like, you could say that something, a little nicer.
He needs a nicer term for that.
Yes. I mean, especially because when I was pregnant, this is another thing he did. I'll never forget this. I was like 9 months pregnant and I was standing in front of the TV, like asking him a question. He looked at me and goes, hey, Shamu, move. It's harsh. You think it's fun and games over there. And sometimes you're like, God, Kim's so mean to him. Well, hello, it comes back. So I got up on the second floor and I was looking out and I was like, wow, this is really something. Yeah,
The view. Okay.
The view is
what a good feeling.
Wow.
Mind-blowing. I mean, it truly, truly is. But back to the smart home. Of course, all the security that you can imagine. Facial recognition on the cameras. When you walk to the front door, that the door will open automatically if it's tied to your phone. When in my mother's house, because she has 2,000 square feet in this house. She has her own little house, part of this house. Is that, of course, it'll be all cameras. It's ADA, although she's not in a wheelchair or anything like that. But when it comes time for her to have a caregiver, that's where it's going to be. And then she has every little button that you can imagine. In addition to that, just a quick side note, because I know we have a lot of listeners that are taking care of their parents, is that originally her house was spec'd for wood floors, and then we looked at tile. And then the interior designer said, have you thought about cork floors? And I was like, cork floors? I never thought about that. I said, why? And she said, well, if somebody's older and they fall, it'll be more forgiving. And if she drops her glass, it'll bounce instead of breaking. So that's my little tip that I pass along to anybody who's taking.
Do you have any smart appliances, refrigerator, stove? We've seen like washer, dryer, any of that stuff?
No, because you know me, I'm cheap.
Yeah.
And so when it came time for the appliances, now keep in mind the appliance package for this house is crazy expensive. I mean, it is, because you're talking about 2 homes. I mean, 4 washers and dryers. I mean, it just, ice machines, wine coolers. I mean, and then I needed to have a special refrigerator for my mother so she didn't have to bend over to get into the freezer, so that she has pull-out drawers. I mean, everything was really thought out. Is that I went to our local appliance supplier here in town, and I said, can we strike a deal? And Spencer's Appliance, your friend in the business. I'll be your friend. Yeah. And so afterwards, so we're going to get Sub-Zeros and all high-end appliances. But what I'm allowing them to do is to take pictures of the installation that they can use in their advertising brochures. So I saved like 20% by doing that. So they didn't have any smart appliances, but if they did, okay, I would have been all over it. But because I'm always trying to save a buck, that's kind of the way that it is.
Kim, I know you have to go, but thank you so much. All right, so let's get Ben, because Ben is the geek of the week.
We're just going to forget about what I said. If money were no object, I'll just take Kim's new house.
Yeah,
so
right.
I don't know what I can do. I've got smart plugs. I've got switches and, smart lights, Alexa routines, Google Assistant routines, but it's all pretty basic stuff. Turn on lights in this room, turn on TVs in that room. One of the things I would love, and Kim talked a lot about when it came to the windows. I don't need the dimming glass, but at least it would be cool to have motorized curtains.
I feel the same way. I've been looking for those forever, and they just, at least at Amazon, I don't think they exist yet.
I've seen them,
right?
But they're not cheap. There are a few different companies. I don't see a whole lot of reviews, but even to do that, it's $100, at least $100 or more per window. I would love to do that again in Phoenix, certain times of the day. I would just love to have that stuff on a schedule where we just know where the sun is, close the blinds or the curtains, and move on.
What's your favorite connected gadget, or the one that you use the most?
My favorite one? Well, the Harmony, but it's going away. I love being able to just come in and say something like, I was going to say like computer, because that's what I named Alexa. Mm-hmm. Computer, you know what to do. And it'll be like, damn right I do. And you can bleep that if you need to. And it'll turn on everything, the projector, the AV, the Roku, the Google TV. It's just like you have that moment where you just kind of raise your arms in the air and just like,
that's right, angels.
That's what you want from the curtains too, huh? Just to walk in and they open up.
Yeah, but the same thing goes for the kitchen. Smart appliances, we've had the connected washer and dryer before, which was nice because it would just send a notification to your phone when like the washer was done or the dryer was done, but they didn't actually last that long. The machines went out within a few years. So yeah. But as far as what I would like to have, I'm kind of interested in one of those Samsung smart fridges it happens every week. It's hard to make words because it makes me mad, but you go to the store, you get all this stuff. You go to the store 3 times, you come back, you got this whole recipe, and you still, I thought we had this one thing. Huh. Well, if I had a fridge that would have told me that, or a smart pantry or something, then, that's what I would have.
Yeah, no kidding.
We've talked about this on the show before, the Moley robotic kitchen. 2 arms, it's a robot, budget. Attaches to the ceiling. It cooks 5,000 recipes, cleans up. I mean, that's what I want. It costs $340,000, so I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah.
One that's also pricey, but I would really love, it's called the Samsung Air Dresser, and it's this little standalone wardrobe, and it steams your clothes, so it gets all the wrinkles out, it refreshes them, gets smells out, kills bacteria and dust, who cares? I just don't want to have to iron, so that thing is awesome. It's on sale right now. It's $1,000, but I just can't justify that.
I would love to have that. Well, I mean, if you go to the dry cleaner pretty regularly, it'll eventually pay for itself.
Ben just talked himself into an air dresser.
I did.
Yep.
Did.
Mark it down.
That's awesome. Hey, it's the Tech Refresh Podcast with Kim Komando and friends. And one of the things we promise every week is to keep you from getting scammed. Every week, we talk about a new scam that you need to watch out for. And if you bank at Wells Fargo or Chase, here's one you need to know about.
Yeah, Checkpoint Research. They always put out these really great lists of the most imitated companies that scammers are trying to use to steal your personal information or your payment details. They just analyzed January, February, and March. No surprise, Microsoft was number one. It's just an easy target. So many people are using PCs. But new to the list, and the one we're warning you about, are Chase and Wells Fargo. Usually these kind of brand phishing attacks, they're almost always the same thing. You get an email or a text message that has a link in it that's going to take you to a copycat site of the real thing. Usually they tell you there's been unusual activity on your account. You need to log in and fix it. Well, you put in your information and then it goes right into the hands of somebody who wants it. Never go to your bank site from a link ever. Always just go directly. If you get a strange notification, just call the number on the back of your card.
I bank at Chase. I got one of those emails about 2 weeks ago, as a matter of fact, and I did open it and then realized right away, this is fake. So yeah, you just have to be careful where you click and what you click on, and be diligent about keeping your information to yourself. Just ahead, a reunion of sorts on GoFundMe on Tech Refresh from Komando.com. Hey, thanks for listening to the Tech Refresh Podcast, heard exclusively on the Kim Komando Explains podcast from Komando.com. If you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button so you get this podcast delivered automatically every Friday with the Kim Komando Explains podcast. That also gets you the special feature podcast, including this week about 5G. Man, we got an expert on 5G, and he talked about, the radiation and how it affects, possibly your brain or possibly other parts. And so it's an in-depth look, and all you have to do is take a listen. It's on the Komando podcast at Komando.com/podcasts. And also, if you just look up Komando, Komando, on your favorite podcast player, you'll find it there. All right, a reunion of sorts on GoFundMe.
Yeah, you hear about chance encounters, but this one that came across on Today.com, it really got me. So I'm going to set the scene. Back in 2002, at the time, this guy, 21 years old, was working as a shift supervisor at a Chicago area Starbucks. He heard screaming coming from the women's bathroom. So he goes in there, long story short, he helps this woman who went into labor 3 weeks early deliver her baby boy.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
So it made news at the time, and time goes on. And Griffin Barron, that's the name of this guy at Starbucks, always wondered how things turned out. Well, this past spring, as chance would have it, he came across a GoFundMe page for this kid named Jonathan. Well, he's not a kid anymore. He's 18. He and his older brother were looking for help after their father's death. Apparently, their mother died years ago. So he made a donation. He looked him up on Facebook and reached him out. Now, this being an 18-year-old, he didn't get the Facebook message very quickly. They don't check Facebook very often, but he eventually got it. They messaged back and forth, and they finally decided to meet back up at the Starbucks where Jonathan was born. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Have a cup of coffee with the guy that helped deliver you. That's a great story. Hey, if you'd like to comment about the podcast, good or bad, mostly good, send us an email to podcasts@Komando.com. Again, podcasts@Komando.com. On behalf of Kim, Ben, Allie, I'm Mike. We'll see you next time. And for the latest digital news and articles anytime, go to Komando.com with a K. That's Komando.